Hello and welcome back to Path of Radiance 0% Growths. We are on Chapter 4, Roadside Battle. So, we, in this chapter, get one new unit, Soren, and we still don't have access to Oscar and Boyd. And this is another defeat boss chapter. Here's the boss, and I'm just gonna get started, talk about the chapter as I go. So, there's like a whole big mess of enemies here, and we mostly just let Titania kill them all. Most of our other units aren't capable of dealing with all these enemies anyway, so we don't really want to do that, though I am going to take the opportunity to feed a few kills to Soren. And speaking of Soren, I will go ahead and talk about him. So, in a normal playthrough, I think Soren is a candidate for the best non-mounted unit in the game. I mean, unless you want to count Rayson, I guess. That's kind of a different category. But like, yeah, Path of Radiance, you pretty much just use mounted units, but you know, you're gonna want a healer. And having some magic damage is useful, and Soren is the best at doing both of those things ordinarily. But it does take him a little while to get going. His initial damage output is pretty low, despite the fact that he does double most things and can proc Adept. In this context, like, oh boy. You know, his damage output is just going to be weak all game. The only reason I'm considering, you know, giving him some XP is because the healer situation is really kind of awkward all the way until you get to, like, Alencia in this, in 0% growths, because the pre-promoted sages that you get, Khalil and Bastion, have knives rather than staves, so you kind of have to train a staff unit. Now, obviously, we have Riss, but Riss is not, like, I don't know, it is not as flexible of a unit as Soren. I mean, it's possible that Soren with promotion bonuses will still be bad enough as a healer that I would rather use Riss anyway. I'm not really sure. There's also Mist to consider, who does get a mount, so that's helpful, although her magic base is really low. I don't know how much that's actually going to matter, but we'll see. So yeah, there's just a lot of awkward going on there, basically. Anyway, so Titania is just going to charge up here. I'm going to have her use the Iron Axe on this enemy phase, even though there are a bunch of archers, because I don't want her to just run through and break the hand axe at this point. I have some extra Iron Axes. I don't have an extra hand axe. It's only got 22 uses left. Like, if I take on all these enemies with them, it might come pretty close to breaking. So let's just not do that. And instead, we'll just kill most of the enemies with the Iron Axe, and then use the hand axe to kill the boss next turn. The boss has a javelin, which is why we need to do that. I don't think Titania can do enough damage to one-round him with the steel axe. I mean, if she couldn't kill the pirate, she probably can't kill the armor knight. And in any case, the enemies clump up enough that I probably won't be able to get to him that way regardless. And we'll have to use a hand axe to be able to attack him on player phase. So I mean, that wouldn't be the case if I had the hand axe equipped during this enemy phase, but again, I don't want to break it, so... This works fine anyway. So yeah, at this point in the game, I mean, so Titania would have just gotten her first level up, so she's pretty much as good as she would be anyway. The same cannot be said for Ike. Ike at this point should have gotten, you know, not only should he have gotten a couple levels were the stats, but I would have given him more kills, so he would maybe have an additional level on top of that. But most of the other characters are pretty much where they would normally be. Oscar and Boyd, I guess Oscar would be better at this point. Boyd, you know, might have gotten a level or two. Not too much. Yeah, so now we just get to sit through the long enemy phase where Titania kills all the things, except for the archers. So yeah, of all the units I have deployed here, I actually think, despite the fact that I think there's a low probability that giving Soren kills ends up being valuable, I still think he's probably the highest priority, just because the other units are some combination of pointless to give XP to, and oh, she didn't kill that enemy. Huh. Remarkable. Anyway, yeah, he's unlikely to get value out of it, but everyone else is even more unlikely to get value out of it. Okay, so what we're going to do with Titania now is we're going to throw a hand axe at the boss. And then we're going to park in the bush up top there. Just to try to make it harder for the enemies to get to Titania. Because I want her to kill as few enemies on this coming phase, aside from the boss, as possible. Anyway, alright, so it looks like, honestly, I kind of zoned out, but it looked like Gatry didn't do as much work as he possibly could have done. Either that or, I don't know, the enemies just moved in a different way. Well, I suppose it doesn't matter too much. Alright, let's have him take out this guy since he can. And then... I'm guessing Ike can't actually take this guy out? No. Didn't mention that I got the... Oh! Oh, right, the Regal Sword. Okay, you know what? Sure, fine. Heyo. Yeah, I forgot that the Regal Sword is actually lighter than an Iron Sword. Actually makes a difference. Okay, so now what we want to do... Well, actually, we kind of need Shinon to take this guy out. Oh. Nah, we can't do that. Alright. We can do this. Soren. Take this guy out. Basically, we want Shinon to just pull a bunch of the enemies so that they don't attack Titania, so that I don't break my hand axe. These are the optimizations that we're making at this point. Right, so now, like, yeah, some of the enemies should go after him. Just to make sure I don't do anything stupid with Riss. Alright, so we can heal Gatry without putting Riss in range of anything. It's nice. No. The boss would attack first. That would also work for me. Uh-oh. Oh, the boss still has a spot to attack from. Alright, here we go. That's what I like to see. No. That's not what I like to see. Good, good. Alright, here we go. And there you have it. Chapter 4 in 2 rather lengthy turns. We get a javelin. And that's the end. We did not suffer any casualties. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time for Chapter 5. Until then.